ziggurats like the Tower of Babel seen in recent Enwars arcs, in which several had been constructed through various times to escape floods. People of the time seem to always have a foreknowledge of these floods, whether as was through the adepts or by records left by 67 Page. Prev or civilizations. As said before, the ziggurat had various uses. O current world lead have all assets are ders L of th in format etion in regard not owards only future floods but also which land mass will submeth is merge as the W world ages during the shift. Th will give none of th in former stst hey is ashen to the common people and it seldom leaks out. Instead they can't add tiny to extend the underground caverns both themselves building d or is g say deeming other planets securing their future. Th new Tower of Babel is in a he where else back cities, and terraformed magic by K-Ra finally accompli why shed what H set out to do, which was to build the tallest building he old in th world. He through ancient geography we lead that ma regions that are on any assets now w were actor wally oceans before and you are looking at th sandy bot d he ttom of the m. Reason 51 many indigeno tribes now left savor a warning about gs earth's f flood cycles. They also had high consciousness to astral try to ravel other pl laces before such things occurred. The illiterate expandi their ing underground domain in en preparat ashen of future miss. Cataclysm these machine borrow is 3 miles p day per and pave the wall way behind them at the same time me in a earth cities are beautiful well. 68 Page. Reason 52 the new Tower of Babel the tallest building in the world, built by the construction company Wafi, which means one who is loyal to Pharaoh. That Pharaoh is Ramses, who was the fleshly vessel for Ra. Keep in mind these spirit energies are immortal and they incarnate into willing vessels who are all connected by bloodline. In the last Olympics the Chinese government showed their alignment with the plan of a new world order as they danced around the tower. This is why many of the Chinese people protested, unfortunately to no avail. What the world leaders have done however is revealed their true identity. This is priceless for the guided, truly a big answer in a world full of questions. Language allows us to communicate and express ourselves, embedding itself in the framework of our mind or mental matrix. When the words we use are manipulated by the developer of the language, it is possible for us to think and feel like we are saying one thing but in all actuality we are saying another, which would change the outcome of our intended desire. The most damaging thing about many languages of today is they are not only backwards as the word indicates, but they are also heavily laden with the names of various deities from our past fetish with pantheism. It is now evident that many words with certain vibrations pull energy while others restore energy. This was shown through water crystals. Our body, being 70% water, is extremely sensitive to vibration. Thought is also vibration, and this is how thought forms are created and given life. It is apparent that in the history of man and women there has been lots of meddling with negative energies, which can be seen within our warlike nature and bloody history. The development, 69 Page. Of weapons began the downward spiral. This art was blamed on the fallen angel Tubal-Cain, the Kennet goat god who in legend taught man how to fashion the first sword from a plowshare. From that point man looked for anything to make a better weapon to pummel and plunder his brother. The discovery of gunpowder and various other explosives by the alchemists produced a fatal time of misuse of energy that continues more now than ever. It has also morphed into genetics. Everything is alive, so imagine what radiation's character is. Our kind have become fascinated with force, not energy and ability, which is entirely different. It can be looked at this way: some things are passive like steel, we can fashion it into a plow, till the soil, and bring forth abundant food, or we can make it into a gun. This is my definition of passive energy. Then you have things like mercury and radiation that have no nurturing assimilation for human beings. They are what I call the force. Their use is generally to deteriorate anything they come in contact with. When asking about the various fuels that are used as food for different energies and spirits, I learned that first it was plasma the lower vibration beings fed on, The wars were fought with swords and the blood was up to the bridle. Many ancient accounts note that the battlefield when war was finished would glow with an eerie light and you could see gaseous life forms absorbing the energy of the blood. In time radiation was in preference, the nastier the element the more degraded the host that feed upon it. This is the wisdom taught by us. Now you see they're using depleted uranium and you should know enough by now to get the clue on where the hosts that feed on that energy come from. Our history also shows that many have had a fondness for worshipping and serving rather than mastering and leading. True spirituality benefits the one who is able to enact such rare talent as communion with the Most High. What remains is religion, which for the most part borrows from everywhere orthodox faiths and tales of villains and heroes may have sprang up. Where most people get lost is being able to imagine this unseen world is real. The world we live in now is very populated with other forms of life. In history these beings were given names in which many people, especially those that speak the languages of the Latin Vulgate, evoke every day. As the wise men always knew, behind your words lies a certain force depending upon how serious you take it. If you speak only idly, there are those who take that as an opportunity to release you of your power and use it at their advantage. They understand how it works. Of course, the biggest move is to detach you from belief that such things could be possible. The names used for these entities have survived without the slightest bit of notice by the average person, until now. The one that can control the tongue is on the path to controlling their thought, and not before then. Reading a book from the 1800s in regards to making spiritual contact will shine light on just how lost and off track many have been. This book proposed that you must wait for the new moon, burn some wheat, be sure to face the west, wait for a certain star to appear, look up to the heavens and say this prayer while gripping firmly the throat of a frog. The prayer itself was a combination of holy names some I recognized to be in direct conflict of each other. I thought to myself then, surely if 170 PAGE must do all this to contact the Most High, then maybe we are lost. Of course one does not have to do all of what was described to make contact, but let us not believe someone has not tried this recipe of foolishness and reaped the results. In addition, when the unseen negative forces perceive that one will go to extremely barbaric lengths to make contact, they normally lead the person into a whole host of rituals which tend to involve sacrifice and blood. Thus they never meet the Most High and are headed in the direction of a place foreign to anything made of flesh, with no light to guide their steps. We are now living in a time that it is almost necessary for the religious system to reboot due to the amount of legends, myths, and fables that have been all rolled under the subject of spiritual ascension. This book to me was a final effort to get a rope around all the belief systems as they continue to merge, becoming more and more difficult to weed through and track the origins of. I'm sure that if something is not done now, the future generations will have a very difficult time telling truth from falsehood if this is allowed to continue. This book is a key underground tool for understanding whatever happens in the near future and getting through it. History books continue to be revised as more incorrect information is added. If you noticed, the Hive Mind mainframe, Wikipedia, now the #1 portal for information, constantly updates their data and they are owned and operated by the elite. I've witnessed various alterations to certain topics which take a person completely off the mark of truth of the topics of high importance. Before we move further, I will state again that I am not at all an advocate of Christianity, but it is now a fact that the Catholic and Christian religions have restarted a much older design and have introduced it to the world under new packaging. Some addition, name changes and a sprinkle of hyperdimensional magic is all that's needed to mislead the masses. This makes it of value to dissect certain things that we know about the religion in order to fully perceive what is really going on today. You should keep in mind the amount of followers dedicated to each belief system, thus the direction of energy and how it flows about the world you currently live in. Although you may have opened your mind to search for whether or not there is more truth out there, many refuse to read anything related to the subject of spirituality. Another portion will not read anything else unless it is the Bible, Quran, or the particular book attached to their faith, such as the Book of Mormon. In fact, these religions teach that one should not read anything else lest they become led astray, or should they say,